Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast for Kaitou Sentai LupinRanger versus Keisatsu Sentai PatoRanger. I am Vashi V, and I am joined with.
Dedicate.
The Little King.
And Rye.
And today we're talking about episode 18. So we open on the global police enjoying a peaceful day at the station. As Hilltop sips his tea, the older Crash brother turns giant right from another part of the building. Coyote calls for backup, seeing him from afar. Good Striker joins the Pato Rangers for Pato Kaiser, and we get the opening. Yeah, it's a pretty short scene, so I think I'm just going to move on. The Gangler reveals himself as Anidara. During the fight, Goody notices that he has a collection piece in his safe. He leaves the police vehicles to form Lupin Kaiser with the thieves. But Anidara is gone, just left. And Goody updates them on the situation. Thoughts?
First off, that's gotta be the worst rude awakening on the job ever. Just trying to have a nice day, you turn around and there's a fucking giant monster right at your front window. But I guess that's normal in Japan, so kudos to them for keeping it in their heads. And I love how Goody just, when he realized that there was a collection piece, he's like, shit, they're gonna kill him, I gotta go! And he just books it and just leaves all of that behind for the Lupin Rangers. Oh my god, I was just dying. It was too good. And the fact that he's just a giant, 60-foot sheep monster just disappearing? How the fuck do you even do that?
Seriously, at first I was like, fuck, was there a fight going on right outside? And then I realized, oh god, no, that was the one that they had in the lab. Gosh, it just broke in and grew it big out of nowhere. Uh, this is also we get a couple of good things that we don't that are out of the usual here. Like, hey, what happens if the monster sells a collection piece when they're big? Well, first off, Goody will freak out. Also, I really enjoyed the Lupin Rangers planes flying over the Power Rangers' heads. That CGI aside, like, it was just a nice effect of them coming in over the buildings. Vashi?
It helps if I don't hit the mute button when it's unmuted. Um, Honestly, this was a nice touch with the fact that they came back to the fact that the Pat Rangers had a safe. This could have been one of those things that they never came back to in terms of reviving them. They could have just used it as the hey, we're going to experiment on them to figure out how all this stuff works. And instead, it's nope. Ghost is just going to teleport into the lab and make it a giant. So it was one of those I would have been happy either way because on one hand we would have got more information on how the ganglers work when it comes to the safes and all that. But I like the fact that they brought 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 it back as reviving him mainly because it's just funny how he died.
It was all really well set up, too. Like, they had the one episode that the monsters get destroyed in, which we find out about later, and then go through that whole song and dance of, hey, you killed my brother. And just the way everything connected into each other.
Right. It's like, and they spaced everything out enough to where it was one of those like for me, I kind of forgot that they had the safe because it was just kind of a one-off thing. At least that's how it seemed.
Right.
So it was handled very well, and guess it's really lucky that Gosh can teleport. They really need to up their security measures to protect against that. I mean, you're fighting monsters. I mean, come on. Just assume somebody can teleport.
Yeah, this show has been very filler free, I should say. Uh, and that was used pretty well. So Jim explains that this Gangler came from the destroyed safe they were holding in the lab. They wonder how Gosh entered undetected. Jim reports that there is nothing unusual with the security system. Tsukasa wonders how she knew about the safe's location in the first place. Keiichiro is concerned that they might have a leaker. Outside of Diguranio's mansion, Destra gives Zamigo credit for the info. So, yeah, that's still a question that's in the air. Does Zamigo have access to the station, or does he have a human working for him? Or maybe a Gangler disguised as a police officer? Who knows? But Anidara thanks him and Gosh. Gosh was reluctant and expects to get paid. Destra asks him to open his safe, revealing that his hypothesis was correct. He lets Anidara keep his collection piece to seek revenge on the police. He explains to Gosh that the Lupin collection were originally created in their world, and that humans shouldn't be able to use them without them being modified. So yeah, that was definitely an info-filled scene. What did you guys think?
Yay! More puzzle pieces to the mystery! Awesomeness! And oh my god! I love when they make shows meta. In this case, they're making up theories alongside us. That is so cool!
So I'm pretty sure the Pot Rangers have at least once seen Gosh teleport. So the question of how she got in shouldn't really be that big a question. Unless they expect that she would have set off some sort of alarm even inside. At one point, I had suggested, like, what if Koguri is Gosh? And now I'm starting to think, like, maybe they're starting to foreshadow that themselves, because he's the only other character that we see pop into places undetected. As for Destra, so he knows that what helps him confirm his suspicion, it seems, about the collection pieces being made in the Ganglar world is that it didn't grow big inside the safe. Which begs the question, why did that confirm his suspicions if Gosh was able to grow the safes big? What's different about those? What would make the collection pieces different?
I think for that, I think that's where he's figuring out that they were tampered with.
Mm,
Because the only collection pieces we've seen grow big have literally been just the VS vehicles and Goody, which have all been tampered with.
oh, yeah, maybe
Um,
that's it. Maybe he already knew that they came from their world.
right. I think this was more him confirming his theories for why the humans can use them.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Um, I do like how they're, like King said, is like they're theorizing right along with the rest of us, which opens the door to a lot more theories and a lot more questioning on what theories are right. Um, I'm really liking the theory of Kogure being Gosh, because that has been one of my biggest questions since his character got introduced. Is how does he keep showing up places? Granted, it's almost always at the restaurant. It's like, but he shows up when nobody knows he was there, and he just appears. That would be a good explanation. Um, I do like the fact that with this little scenes, like they tied in that whole little itty bitty scene with Zamigo from last week. And just no questions about that little symbol, but it was a nice little touch that they ran with it with the next episode instead of it being something that gets forgotten about and go, oh, by the way. So.
So Anidara begins taunting the police through their computer screens. Yep, that's just his ability. He challenges them to a duel at Mount Tokiori. However, the police need Good Striker if they want to fight back. Keiichiro has a plan to get him back from the thieves. At Jurere, the thieves wonder how to find the Ganglar. Goody doesn't really offer any advice. He just flies around and wishes them good luck. Kaede scolds him for not taking this seriously enough and for continuing to help the police based on feelings. Goody flies off, irritated. Kogure appears and explains Goody's origins. He was actually created by Arsene Lupin with the purpose of strengthening and protecting the collection pieces. His request eventually caused Goody to become sentient with free will. His habit of acting on emotion is kind of the price he pays to have free will. So, yeah, he's kind of like the opposite of Naga. He's got too much emotion. Kaede takes off to find him. Thoughts?
Mm, well, I mean, a lot of it really speaks for itself. And like you said, Katie is basically the opposite of Naga, which is not a bad thing. But I mean, at the same time, you kind of look at it like it's an overwhelming task, and I mean, who knows how long he had at least attempted to take control of the collection until either he wound up at the Pat Rangers or somehow the Lupin Rangers, did what they did. And, it kind of makes you wonder just how far did he go? Like, what were his limits? Like, what was too far for him emotion-wise and in his duties? And just as a little side note thing, I kind of liked, the joke before Kyrie started scolding him about, I mean, you guys can handle this. Best of luck. I'll see you guys when the time rolls around. I kind of saw that as partially due to his nature, but also partially due to him honestly trusting them enough to handle it because he knows both teams' limitations and he knows their strengths and weaknesses working alongside the two Sentais. So, I don't know, that was just something that caught my eye, but all in all, I mean, it is something to think about. This episode definitely gave us a lot of speculation in more ways than one.
Yeah, we're all wondering about what Goody is early on, and now we know that okay, he's a modified piece that developed emotions from his own ambition, and I like that about him. Uh, he didn't he didn't choose to be this way, but that's just how he ended up, and now it's kind of overwhelming him.
Like this was really done character development for what I consider a non-character. Um, or rather, they turned a non-character into a character. He literally just overwhelmed with the power, with his own task that he was given, along with the fact that everything he's evolved into since he was given sentiency. He's thing I can equate him to, at least at this point, would be Data from Star Trek. He's still trying to figure out how to control his emotions and not let them run rampant. And he understands it's a problem, and he just doesn't know how to fix it. So, I feel that's why he left the way he did when Kyrie made his remark. They've done a really good job to make me care about the feelings of a fucking collection piece. That, to me, that shows exemplary writing and direction on the cast and the voice actors and everything involved with this series for this. It's amazing.
Yep, well said. So let's see. Yeah, Kairi takes off, but he says he's going for a walk. The others search for Anidara. Toma tells Kogure to watch the cafe. Umika and Toma see a news broadcast warning people to evacuate Mount Tokiori for the duel that will take place. Keiichiro is confident that this will lure the thieves out. Kairi finds Goody on a swing, and he joins him swinging. He sympathizes with him and apologizes for being so harsh earlier. But Goody tells him not to worry because Kairi wasn't exactly wrong. Goody's determined to protect the collection piece with the thieves this time, and Kairi gives him a fist bump. Yeah, we have feels for a toy. That's pretty great. What did you guys think of those scenes?
I'd just say that's proof of how damn good this show is. I loved that conversation with Kyrie and Goody. It was just heartwarming and a good stepping stone for Kyrie, I think. It makes him a bit more understanding, a bit more sympathetic, I think. And of course, it fleshes out Goody a bit more, which I like. And I do like the idea of the Pat Rangers just, like, spewing out the propaganda. I mean, at the same time, it also gets rid of any civilians should the duel actually happen, but it lures out the ones they want. That is very clever, and I love that. Competent on both Sentai teams. And the villains are starting to become just as competent too. So thank you, writers, for actually making this not a three-way idiot match. I can appreciate that.
Everything King said, and also I love seeing Goody on the swing. Like, that's just too good. I don't even know how they did that effect, but it's just amazing.
Like, I like the fact that with Goody on the swing, they went so far as to give the little ignition behind him for him whenever he swung forward. It was a nice little touch.
Oh, it's so good.
Overall, the conversation with Kyrie and Goody was heartwarming and it was well done. Again, showing more into Kyrie's understanding of people's feelings. Granted, once they get explained to him. The idea for the luring out the Lupin Rangers by the Power Rangers, that was genius and standard tactics, because like it said in the episode and King said, it was twofold. It evacuated the area and got the Power Rangers to show up, or the Lupin Rangers to show up, so the Power Rangers could get Goody back. And I think it was more using the knowledge of the fact that the Lupin Rangers go after the collection piece, so they would have to show up.
One more thing. I really enjoyed the gag of Tuma asking Kogure to watch over the restaurant. And Kogure just trying on the apron.
Like it was like just the look on his face when it happened was a look of "excuse me," and coupled with "I
You're
really want to do this."
you're requesting me to do something?
Well, it's not like he's done much else this season so far. Might as well give him something.
As far as we know, if he may have been teleporting and making bad guys grow big. We don't know yet. But yeah, it's like everything about this worked out perfectly. With the execution, the writing, and just everything involved with it. Especially the Kyrie and Goody on the swing is like that was to me one of the best moments in this episode.
For sure. So the thieves arrive at Mount Tokiyori. They Kaitou change and roll call. But before they can deploy Lupin Kaiser, the police arrive in the drill and crane vehicles. Ichigo steals Good Striker out of Red's hands. He's pretty much harnessed to the crane and drops in and steals him. He deploys PatoKaiser despite Goody's reluctance. However, Lupin Red won't allow that. He uses his vehicle to take Ichigo's place as the head and joins the PatoRangers in the cockpit. And, of course, a fight breaks out. Blue and Yellow attack Ichigo on the ground. The Rangers and the mech fight each other and Anidara at the same time. It was a really fun fight and so unexpected. I mean, I can't think of the last time we saw a fight like this, if ever. Red uses the blade vehicle to open Anidara's chest. Surprisingly, the collection piece is still small. Yellow and Blue steal it. Goody ejects the PatoRangers and Gattais to form Cyclone Knight. Anidara is defeated. And then we just get a short cut of the Ganglers. Destro's pleased with his results, and DeGranio is quite entertained with Destro's methods. Thoughts?
This was hands down my favorite fight scene of this season, and one of my favorite Megazord fights, which is rare because I don't usually like Megazord fights, but this was fucking awesome. If I'm gonna be honest, that move Keiichiro pulled with Crane and Drill was a bit of a dick move, but he got his just desserts, I will admit. Just the idea of, I mean, of course there's always the mix and match gimmick, but up until this point, I don't think any of us ever expected, like, the dial fighters and the trigger machines to, like, mix and match too. Now that opens the door to a whole bunch of possibilities. And that freaking just, of course, seeing the other two Lupin Raiders. Oh my god, I've been watching too much Rider. I'm sorry. Lupin Rangers fighting Keiichiro on the ground was cool. And just the idea of Lupin Red and the other two Pat Rangers fighting in the cockpit and then just screwing with the controls best they could so that they defend themselves until Goody's like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. You two out. You two get in here. That was just too freaking good, and I loved it. And, you know, anything good with the villains I'm interested in indulging in. So that was so much fun for me. And, oh my god.
I never even fathomed of them, like, mixing the combinations between the two while they were still fighting each other. Like, I thought that it might be a possibility if they start working together, but while they're still fighting, I don't think we'll see this again, because I'm pretty sure this was the best possible combination for this. And then the expectation that the collection piece also grew big, for it to just still be the same size, was also really good.
Like everything about this was amazing from the fact that this was pretty much just one long episode of a Megazord fight, which we all know from watching any of the Q-Ranger that I like the Megazord fights, especially in this season, because they're just amazing. Like I like Rice said, is like I had expected eventually for them to get to the mixing and matching, just not yet. So for the fact that he literally hijacked the mech was amazing. And it went about as well as I had expected it to. Though I wasn't expecting him to end up in Sango seat at any point. And for just that brief little pause where they had fought back and everybody went, nice, and they looked at each other for a second, went, nice. Oh shit, we're fighting, aren't we? That was just fucking gold for me.
Oh, man.
In terms of just overall amazingness, this is by far the hands down the best fight scene we've had in this series since it started. Because it worked to the full. Because this is the first Megazord fight we've had that's been a 3-way battle, even if it wasn't entirely 3 ways per se in terms of size, but it was exceptionally well done.
It's more like there were 2 fights going on at the same time.
Right. I mean, standard, that's what's normally happening when they're on the ground, is like, but once it becomes an issue of mechs, this is something that's not happened at all. So, like, this is the type of scene that you would expect when, like, the evil ranger jumps into the Megazord and starts fucking shit up. I think this is the first time it's ever been a situation like this. Then again, this is the first time we've actually had 2 teams, so that would make it the first time. I'm an idiot. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that the collection piece stayed small. I am a little bit disappointed about that for one aspect. I wanted them to have to find a way to hide a giant ass collection piece.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you wanted to see Kogure's reaction.
That too. It's like he shows up to take the collection piece back and it's the size of a fucking mountain.
And he just looks at his book.
Like freaking Fantastic Beasts, it just opens it, sucks it in. Oh my god. I think I figured out where it's from, though. I think. My best bet
Turbo.
is, I think... Yeah.
Or what would have been, what was it, Car Ranger?
Yes.
Yeah, that's for Power Ranger Turbo, that was the explosive device finder.
Oh.
Oh, that was a fun one.
I recognized a collection piece.
Nice.
In the episode. But yeah, that's where that one's from. But yeah, just everything about this was just amazing.
So final scene, we get some lighthearted banter between the thieves and Goody. He takes off. Kaity's fine with him helping the police on a whim because it's very human-like of him. Episode end. So yeah, this was a pretty awesome episode. This season has been phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to more of the mystery being fleshed out, seeing what Destra's going to do with his information.
Oh my god, this was such a good episode. And that ending just hit me like a ton of bricks. It was so, oh my god. Just Kairi willing to accept his fate. He wants to act more human. He's doing that by helping them. It's just, oh my god, it's so good. Just good development for Kairi, good fleshing out of Goody. Made the Pat Rangers look like dicks, but hey. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I will still take that step forward if I get it. But oh my god, I love this episode and I want to see next week.
This was a really good episode. I'm curious what Destra's plan is now, though, because he gave away both of his collection pieces. How does he expect to fight now? I mean, and both of them were very fitting too, because he has ranged missiles, and then one of them was a ranged piece and one was an accuracy piece. It really set up a good theme for his combat skills, which is now gone.
Like it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't have collection pieces stashed specifically for this. Only because it seems very odd for him to just give up 2 of his collection pieces just for the sake of this. It's a little off-putting for basically what would be a badass general to be weakened this much. Not that he's weak per se, but I mean, he doesn't have the added power that one would expect from a general now. I do want to back up a little bit because I forgot to point something out. Keiichiro on the crane was absolutely pointless. I get it was more for the gag of it, but that was stupid. It would have been faster if he just jumped down and snagged it and just ran away. I get they have a crane vehicle, but yeah, that could have been handled a little bit better. Other than that, it was just fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was mostly for the gag of seeing him do like a typical thief thing.
Which also goes to show just how awkward he is at everything. He can't even steal right. But yeah, all in all, this episode was fantastic. It's leading to a lot of questions for the future of the series and things that are happening here soon. Also, what the fuck is Amigo up to?
I don't know.
17 episodes. 17 episodes. Or no, 18 episodes.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, because
this
I
is
can't
episode
fucking
18.
count. This is episode 18, and literally we've had 3 scenes of Zamigo, one of which was before the series started, and then 2 one where he just popped up and did a little bit of Lupin Red, and then last week's little scene where he fed information. What is he doing?
What does he want?
This is one of the things why I think I like Zamigo's character so far is we know nothing about him beyond the fact that he doesn't have a collection piece. Other than that,
something like that.
Right. Other than that, we know nothing. We know the same thing Dogranio knows. We have no idea what he's doing. You know, the only difference is, unlike Dogranio, we actually care and want to know. They're doing a very good job of putting him in for bait to keep us intrigued on, ooh, there's shit going down behind the scenes. Ooh. You know, it's that little carrot to keep us intrigued on the mystery of what's going on. Because we have enough of the main mystery covered of what's going on through Kogure's the one who's pretty much informed everybody of everything so far. And then what little bit we've gotten from Hilltop, and in today's episode where we found out that the French HQ is the one who sent them the collection pieces. So, I mean, we have a good understanding of like that whole aspect, but still we have this character over here doing God knows what. They need to bring him to the forefront quickly. I want either that or just let him continue to do this and be the final bad guy.
Or that.
I'm okay with that. Considering they're not doing one of my theories, damn it. Which would have been amazing.
Speaking of theories, I think at one point you, while we were spitballing ideas, you suggested that, like, what if Dogranio is Lupin?
I mean, it's a theory. It's a good, and it still kind of fits too. It would explain why Goody's so hard up to get the collection pieces back. That he'll work with the police.
It's an interesting thought because it raises the question of if Dogranio is also Lupin, why is he stealing from himself? / what is his plan even?
To further the validation of my theory, no matter how untrue it ends up panning out to be, it could be as simple as Kogure and Goody are trying to get the collection piece back because they know what it's capable of in Dogranio's hands. So it's not so much him trying to steal it, or him stealing it from himself. It's more stealing it from those that are protecting it from him now that he's turned bad. Because that's Goody's entire job was to protect the collection. So it's I think this would be his way of going about trying to get all of the collection back.
Okay. But we still don't know why Goody doesn't like Kogure.
Yeah. Which would also add into the theory that Kogure is gauche.
I'm holding strong onto that one.
For me, that's a fantastic theory, one I haven't really ventured into thoughts of. But it does explain a lot about his character and why, and it would explain not so much Goody's apprehension of him, but his more, there's something not right about him. Like, he could sense that there's something wrong about Kogure. I mean, it would be a nice touch. Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts or theories?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
At least not without getting into spoiler territory.
Damn it.
I guess on that note, it's time to sign off.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with more Kamen Rider Build. Some good stuff happened. And next week for more LupinRanger versus PatoRanger. Some good stuff is happening. See you next time.
Yep, thanks for listening.
Adieu, and later, taters.
Thank you all for listening. See you guys back here tomorrow or next week. Enjoy you guys' night and weeks.